Today on What Went Wrong, we run the festival circuit. Hi, I'm Brett Mauser, and I made I think we're at 45 feature films now. And we normally don't go to a lot of festivals. We just kind of kick it out to the distribution because we love our films and we want to get them out to as much as possible. But recently we completed Oldest Posse, and I had wanted to make sure that there was a screening, that some of the cast and crew and just people in general, we had an opportunity to show this film on the big screen. So that was sort of one of my motivations to decide to actually go and submit to festivals. My father also had a small cameo in this role, or in this film, and I thought it would be great to be able to let him go and see himself on the big screen in one of my films. So I submitted to several film festivals in Arizona, and we got into pretty much most of the ones that we had submitted to in Arizona. So we were able to run the festival circuit. We applied to a lot of course, when you're applying to film festivals, you want to kind of target the ones that are going to be appropriate for your film. You don't take a science fiction film and try to send it into a Western film festival. At one point, I did, just because I love the thought of it, I did take a kind of a non-environmental film and sent it to an environmental film festival, just because I knew that they'd have to be forced to watch it. So that was a little bit of an enjoyment for me. But today we're going to be talking about our experience on the film festival circuit. And joining us is one of the co-stars of Oldest Posse, Lisa Butala.
Hi.
Was this your first experience with film festivals?
It was. It very much was. And it was. I didn't really know what to expect. I didn't go in having any expectations, but I think that made it even better.
And overall, I mean, we'll delve into some of the finer points, but overall, what was your experience like?
It was great. I came in with my parents, and being able to see it on the big screen was surreal. It was the first time I had seen anything of myself on the big screen. My dad had a tissue. He's gonna hate me for telling this, but it to see how proud my parents were as well was just amazing. Plus, I got to see some of the cast and crew and meet them that I hadn't worked with on set, because I was only on set for one day, so I didn't get to work with about half the cast. So I was glad to be able to meet some more of the people.
I was going to ask how your parents, what their experience was like, and how they enjoyed it.
They had a great time. They were on cloud nine, enjoying all of it. So I'm glad I got to share that with them.
So yeah, we had Wild Bunch on a Thursday, and then had to drive up to Phoenix for Mesa. And basically there were two different theaters, two different screenings. Was it weird seeing the difference between the screens? Because I think the Wild Bunch, when we played in the theater there, that it looked so much better. Mm-hmm. Because it was a theater.
Yeah,
it just looked so much better. And then at Mesa, it was more of a classroom kind of a set, not a classroom, but sort of a screening room setting. And the colors just didn't pop quite as much. Yeah. Was there? Did you take note of that? Was that something that was on your mind?
I did, and that's why I'm very glad my parents were able to be at the Tucson one, because it wasn't a movie. It was a professional movie theater. I believe the Mesa one, they just pulled up the website screen. They didn't actually play it through. So that was a little concerning, because you could see the timeline bubble kept going across. So yeah, it was a bit different. I definitely preferred the Tucson screening over the Mesa, but they were both great, because again, two different audiences. We got to see the reactions from two sets, and that was one of the best parts of the audience's reactions, live and in person.
Yeah, I think one of our better Q&A sessions from the questions and the comments from were in Mesa, because they were other filmmakers, and they can other filmmakers can really bring the machete, to reference Oldest Posse, to your film, and we had such great comments and get such great support on that film from the audience, especially at Mesa.
Yeah.
I have to tell you, I'm a Western junkie. That was a good movie.
Thank you. And that means a lot.
This was, tell me a little bit about how excited you were, because when this was sort of your first film, first film festival. What was it like to be nominated for Best Supporting Actress.
It's very, very exciting and very surprising. Dunn's not in Oldest Posse as much, so I wasn't expecting a nomination, especially for the Best Actress rather than Best Supporting Actress. So I was very excited, and that was one of the things where I was like, okay, they see something in my performance, in the character. There's something there. So it's that confirmation. I did a good job, because as an actor, I'm my worst self-critic. I'm always gonna think, oh, I could have done that better. I could, or was this good enough? So to have that was a nice little nudge. Okay, you're doing good. Keep going. Keep moving forward. And my parents, again, were thrilled. So I'm really glad I get to share this experience with them, and just again to see my dad in tears with how proud he was nothing compares.
Well, since this series kind of is about educating other filmmakers and getting the experience and knowing, I'm actually going to put you on the spot here a little bit. You don't have to answer if you don't want to, but from all the film festivals that we went to, there's always some films that you're like, how did this get on there? What's it like sitting in a theater and watching maybe a movie that came on before you or after you, and you're sort of like, this is bad. Does anything, because for me, it makes me worried a little bit from our films. It's like, well, if this got in,
right,
does that say something about our film? What is it like to have to sit there and watch some bad films at film festivals, because they are there.
I try to look at the purpose of the film, because I know there were some shorts where it's like, ooh, what is that? That's interesting, but you can see how much fun they had making it, and so I try to think, okay, there's some, like Oldest Posse is made to make an impact and made to bring the audience on an emotional journey. Some were made for fun or to see if they could do it. So I try to be supportive. The choices some make are questionable, but maybe they're growing and learning or new to the industry. But I there were some where I was like, okay, but then I was like, wait till Oldest Posse comes on. This theater's not going to know what hit them. And I feel like there was a change in energy when Oldest Posse came out, especially towards the end. There was not just applause, but again, they were laughing at the right moments. They were dead silent at the end. So I do feel Oldest Posse succeeded in really making an impact out of most of those films.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
So again, what went wrong on while we were in Arizona? Jake got sick. I think on that Thursday, something like that. He got sick
after
on
the
Thursday.
First screening.
Because it was Mesa.
Yeah.
It was Mesa where he got me sick.
Yeah.
Because he was standing so
and
close, and I told him not to come. But he still came, and he was getting up in my face, handing me business cards and everything.
Yeah.
And so that killed me on Sunday.
Yeah.
Because those were all of our award ceremonies. We had to be in Mesa, in Phoenix in the morning.
Yeah.
And then drive down back to Tucson to be in there at like 5. So I didn't get to sit with y'all. Because my father has some health issues, and I didn't want to give him anything and whatnot. So I just kind of stood in the aisle. So that was a complete and utter bummer for me, and it was a sort of bummer for Jake too, because we sort of got into a little bit. And he didn't get to attend the award ceremony at the end of the day.
Yeah.
But things like that happen, and and if it hadn't been sort of that health issue with my father, I would have probably just been fine, deal with it, I'll be sick and whatnot.
Yeah.
But how grumpy was I when you?
Well, rightfully so. I remember getting into, because that was the morning we drove to Mesa, and there was tension. I was like, uh-oh, something happened, and Joey said, Brett's sick. Jake got him sick. I'm like, oh no. So it was understandable that you were pissed off. I would be too. It's one of those things when you miss out on opportunities. It sucks, and it's not fun. So I am sorry you weren't able to take a picture with your parents with the award and stuff like that. But going back, how was it having your dad there and directing your dad
great.
on set?
Because in Wild. at the Wild Bunch Festival, he actually came up with the cast and crew, and to see him up there with us and being a part of that, it was a dream come true, because I don't think he ever really fully supported or grasped filmmaking and why I do what I do and why I make all the sacrifices I do. And him seeing himself on the big screen, all his friends from Arizona were there, and they've become like the biggest fans of this movie, and they're always talking about Oldest Posse. And I think my dad got a really big kick out of it, and it was fun being able to be on set and direct with him. Now, I had put him in a scene many years ago, because we were doing a Western part of the Innocent Saga, and we delved back to the OK Corral. And my dad got to play like a little bartender. He had one line, and that sort of became, because he asks Ike Clanton, you leaving town, Ike? So he's got, he's now got a movie poster, leaving town, and so that was always the line that we always, made fun of him or poked fun of him a little bit about. But this was a chance to, actually, work with him and put him in a couple scenes that he really wasn't just, here and then gone. And he was a pretty good natural. I mean, he's not an actor, professional, and never even entered his mind. Not something that he does. I think I remember growing up, he had to take a public speaking course for some reason, and it was so hard for him. He was so worried. He was so concerned. And then to be able to, see him perform the way he did in this, and he, and one of the horses almost killed him. There's actually there is an outtake. Where one of it was when he was checking on Joey's body with the horse, one of the second horse kind of reared up a little bit, and then that spooked the other horse and started the horse backed up, and my dad was right behind the horse, so he had to scurry on and scamper back. So there is that one brief moment in my head, oh my God, I just killed my dad. But fortunately, we had a wrangler on set. That was when we were in Mescal, and we had a legitimate official wrangler on set. So they were always right there. So nothing was ever really going to happen. Yeah. But it was a fun moment, and it was exciting to get my dad in there and to work with him, and for me to tell him what to do for a change.
Yeah. No, he did a great job. He has very much a natural Western look, so he fit that role of a sheriff pretty well. Yeah.
So changing gears, I'm gonna delve into your personal mindset as you're at an award ceremony. Mesa was I think the only festival we got into that we didn't win anything at. Yeah,
honestly, speaking of that, only 2 people were there to accept the awards. They had to mail like 15 awards at Mesa. It wasn't you didn't miss much on that one.
So, especially being nominated, it's one thing for the film that you're in to be nominated, but then you personally to be nominated, it's got to be a little bit of a bummer when you hear, that the best supporting, best actress, not me.
Yeah, a little bit. But it goes back to the thing of it was just an honor to be nominated. Hopefully one day I do win. My parents got me for Christmas. I still haven't showed you this. They got me an award, and it says Lisa Butala, Oldest Posse, nominated. So award for being nominated.
That's great.
Very sweet. But yeah, especially this early on in my career, and with such a small role, just to be nominated was a great time, and an honor. And like I said, keeps going. Speaking of the awards ceremony, something that went wrong. I should have asked you before, because I was thinking about it. Do I come down with you guys? Because I didn't know that was it. I thought they do awards separately, but then as it went on, it's clear that they're doing all of them to save time, all in a row for each.
Yeah, it was starting to become apparent that
that
if you
was
won an award, they were giving you all the
all
awards.
it was at the time. So once your name's called, that's it.
Yeah.
And so I was like, because I was asked, should I go down, Joey? Should I don't, because I didn't want to overstep, because I wanted it to be just you and Joey. And then afterwards, I found out, you could have came down. I was like, oh well,
that's
okay.
a bummer for me, because I know you would have loved to come down.
Yeah, but that's okay. We didn't know that's how it was. I thought there would be other opportunities too. Yeah. So that's okay.
And that's sort of the way it went too. Was throughout the festivals when we were winning the awards, we were always kind of the first ones that we got our awards ahead of the time. We were usually in the first ones, and it never dawned on me. I think when we were down there or just coming back, Joey had said, "Hey, Lisa asked if she, and I told him at the time, hey, if we get anything else, send her down because you were over there with Joey and everybody else, and I had to be in the little aisle there. So I remember I told him, I said, if we get anything else, she goes, like because there were a lot of actors that didn't make it. So if like Sergio had won, Michael had won because he had gotten nominated, Denise,
which I was surprised. Like as Michael, there were some ones I was like, oh man, they didn't get it.
Yeah, there were so many people that got nominations, and then but unfortunately that's sort of the way it goes sometimes.
Yeah, it depends who you're up against and then judges and then the festivals but again, to be nominated is a great accomplishment in itself. So I'm very proud of myself and everyone that was nominated in this film.
Thinking back, does your experience with Oldest Posse on the festival circuit change your opinion of film festivals, or does it change your attitude towards them, or your excitement, or how you will handle it the next time you're at a film festival?
I think I'm definitely more prepared on what to expect, but it piques my excitement. I'm very excited for the next round, especially because we're going to bring something that's going to knock them out of their seats. So I'm looking very much forward to more festivals, just to meet the people and to watch what else is out there and to see it on the big screen. And again, the Q&As were great, especially at Mesa. You had Western buffs telling you, I'm a Western buff. Westerns are important to me. That was a great film. And so to hear that I'm sure that meant a lot to you.
Yeah, it was. That was one of my favorite comments of my life. For somebody to sit there and say, "I'm a Western buff," that was a good Western. Mm-hmm. And it does make it worthwhile because especially when it's one thing to make a movie that a lot of people say, "Hey, that was a great movie. That was a good movie." But when you make a movie for a particular crowd, for a particular person, for a particular genre, or buffs, who are going to be very critical, who are going to say this is what I'm looking for in a Western, and when you're able to give it to them and they say that checked all the boxes,
100%,
that means the world. That really is, I mean, there could be, some of my favorite directors that say, "Hey, that was a great film." It's greatly appreciated. That's an honor. But, and I'm sure that director would say the exact same thing I'm about to. It doesn't quite measure up to the fact that, the crowd that you made that film for thanked you for it and said that was a great one. And that's what I set out. I wanted to make that classic 1960s, 70s Western, little tinge of 80s thrown in there.
Yeah.
But those great Westerns that I'd grown up on, and to hear this, the same, to hear that, yes, you did it, you accomplished it, was a great honor, and to me.
Yeah.
Was there anything that went wrong that we haven't discussed on you, that from that experience in Arizona that jumps out of your head as, or your time on the film festival circuit that was a surprise, or so, that wasn't supposed to happen, or anything like that?
Not really. Again, Mesa, it was very surprising. Not a lot of people were there. They put out this beautiful spread, beautiful breakfast. Joey, of course, got a full plate. He was the taste tester. Okay, what should I go get? What's good? But it barely got touched. There weren't a lot of people there, so that was a little sad. Because you want to be. Of course, I understand, but you want to be there to enjoy your win and whatnot. I think it overall went pretty well. No one died. Everyone hopefully had a good time overall. It was one of those moments like Oldest Posse, and working with you again. It's becoming a family. Working with you is becoming a family, and actors that I've worked with on Night Watchman, Oldest Posse, maybe coming into this one and whatnot. It's been a nice experience to share with people that you continue to know and get to know and work with.
Being at the film festival changed your outlook on your own career?
I think so. It was a big step. Again, getting that text, "You're nominated. Congratulations!" Just okay. I'm moving forward. I'm continuing to go, because it is hard sometimes to tell as an actor, am I growing? Is my career building? There's not really a set stepping stone. You just kind of, okay, there's changes. I'm improving. You can see it in, self-tapes, whatnot, or someone tells you, which is, again, is hard to believe as an actor. Okay, yeah, you're telling me I'm good. Thank you. But, I see little things that I could do better. But But yeah, that nomination was the first big. Okay, I delivered something that made an impact. I got to keep going and keep working on it to keep doing that. And so yeah, it was definitely an ego boost, but in a good way. And okay, I'm gonna keep working hard because I'm starting to deliver what I really want to achieve, and so I'm gonna keep working at it.
Now, a lot of our films never went to film festivals. We never submitted. It wasn't something. Do you recommend to up and coming filmmakers who are just making their first film, or they're on their third film or whatever? Do you recommend them to try the festival circuit?
I do. Of course, everyone's different in what they want, but it does inspire you. Even seeing other filmmakers or just hearing that audience applaud, it inspires you. And I think for future filmmakers, yeah, it's gonna be a good space because it's gonna hopefully make them want to keep going and keep doing it again and again, whether they submit or not. Keep making stories and telling stories.